recognized the Bible verse, but something felt different about reading it again at the CIA, though I wasn't quite sure why. I was too busy processing the words to notice a person approaching until she was standing next to me. "Hi, you must be Cindy," the woman said. She introduced herself and I shook her hand, perhaps, in my relief, a little more enthusiastically than I normally would have. For a moment, my eyes flickered back to the verse on the wall. The woman followed my gaze. "It's our motto, and it guides our work here every day," she explained before waving for me to follow her. As we passed through the lobby together, I couldn't help it. "This place is so cool," I breathed. The corners of her mouth turned up in a smile. "Yes, I suppose it is." I would like to be able to tell you my job there as an intelligence analyst was like being the American version of James Bond, if only because it sounds really exciting. Hollywood's description of the spy life involves a lot of blowing things up and daring fistfights with villains on top of moving vehicles. My job was not like that, but still, it was, as I had predicted that first day, so cool, because the heart of the job was important. I was discovering the truth. As an intelligence analyst at the CIA, I was responsible for keeping senior American government officials informed about current, fast-moving events happening all around the world. I looked at things like wars in other countries, terrorist attacks, and what policies foreign governments were making that might affect the U.S. To do this, I had to comb through information, or intelligence, that constantly poured in from many kinds of sources every single day. Some of that intelligence was from human assets in other countries, people the CIA has recruited to collect information, or from satellite imagery or electronically gathered information, like intercepted emails and phone calls. But some of our biggest sources of information came from things anyone could find online, like news reports, academic studies, and even social media. Maybe that comes as a surprise, but think about it. People put their whole lives on the internet. Foreign politicians have social media accounts where they post about what they are doing or where they are going. Governments publish reports about their work, and investigative journalists constantly publish breaking news stories about events all over the world faster than most intelligence collection platforms can pick up and process the information. With all that information available to analysts, collecting intelligence is a little like fishing sometimes. We cast our line into the water and hope that eventually we will feel a tug at the end of it. That tug might be an actual fish. That is certainly what you're hoping to catch, but in some cases it might turn out to be a plastic bag, or maybe it's a tin can someone intentionally dropped into the water that found its way onto our hook. All this garbage makes it difficult for analysts to figure out what is real and what isn't. So, what's the garbage we pull out of the water? Some of it is lies and deceptions from a government trying to hide what it is really doing, or false information that governments, groups, or individuals put out to try to influence people's opinions. Some of it is news that has been intentionally sensationalized in an effort to attract more readers, but that has lost some of its accuracy in the process. Other times, it is a joke or a prank a person or group is trying to pass off as true. If I had to put all these pieces of information garbage under one umbrella term, it would be this: fake news. This is a term you have probably heard a lot in the last few years, but it's not a new phenomenon. Fake news has gone by many different names in the past: yellow journalism, propaganda, junk news, tabloid journalism, disinformation, and hoaxes can all be considered a part of fake news. All these terms have the same basic definition at their core: an attempt to deliberately spread inaccurate or false information in order to mislead others, presenting it in a way that makes people likely to believe it to be true. Let me be really clear right up front about something. Fake news is not the actual news media. Fake news does not include reporters working hard to bring you accurate information each day.